Okay, I am done doing tests. I'm here. Just playing around with the font stuff. Let's see here. Hello, hello. I've arrived. What am I here to do? That is a great question, but we are going to find out. So let's take a look at what we did last time. Because there is a good amount to do. Thanks for keeping the test going even when I wasn't here. Of course. Part of that was because I was trying to test out new fonts. Although I think it should be what it is. It might be bolder than it was before. But yeah. I also, on my screen, I changed it to dyslexic fonts to see if that actually helps me at all. But we'll see. I've never really noticed it helping before, like with different things, but you never know. Maybe it'll be good for me. For our chat box or for your dyslexia? So it's dyslexic font for me, but I don't think it looks particularly good on stream. But I could potentially change it to that too. It's just, I'm not sure. I'm gonna see if it works, and if it works for me, maybe I'll change it out on stream, but I mean, you don't notice your own misreads mostly anyway. Yeah, that's true. Very true. So we'll see how it goes. It's interesting. There is definitely more space between the letters, at least on my, so like on my screen it's different than what it is showing up on chat, but I'm always true. That is true. You are always true. So yeah, what are we doing today? That is the question. I think I am gonna go through with the ooh, power level icons look cool. Yeah, I think they're turned out pretty decent. And then of course we have these icons now. Or strength, I mean, yep, indeed, the strength. Still power level on all my spreadsheets. I was going to change it and then it just started messing everything up and I was like, I don't feel like it. It'll happen at some point, but today is not that point. I have too much other stuff to do. On Bradley's note of difficulty, giving lands passives could be a way of doing that. Giving lands passives. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about 2-card draw, right? I was also thinking what the effects of separating monster structures lands into separate decks would be, but I think it's a semi-bad idea. Yeah, I've thought about it before too. I know we talked about separating lands, which I think could be interesting, but I think it's okay without it. Draw 2, play 2, I think is the correct route, but it's if not done, but it's not done right. It's not done right correctly now, or is that currently? Sorry, I'm trying to read this new font. I think I had it right. You just, yeah, said right correctly. Okay, got it. Right and correct. And accurate and true and correct. So here's the things it affects, right? It affects spells, which means spells need a nerf of some sort, right? Either, well, actually, I guess here's the here's the concepts for spells. Spells either need just a straight up nerf, right? So they need to be less powerful. It affects everything but spells especially. Honestly, all the other stuff I don't feel too bad about. Well, we'll get to that in a second, but spells are the primary, why did I say it like that? The primary thing. So I think that is worth, and I think this new rule is just kind of bringing to light just how broken spells actually are. I think it's kind of just highlighting that they're just too powerful. Yeah, when they're rare. Well, I guess that's the other thing, right? A straight up nerf is one option. Just make them less powerful. Option 2 is make them rarer. Right? So lower the quantity in a deck. Or option 3 is making them cost something. Or yeah, I guess which is probably the same thing as a downside, right? I guess potentially downside could be a different thing than a cost, right? Like a trade-off, right? Think the balance nerf spells are gonna be too weak. I need to do this. Hold on, give me a second here. There we go, that's better. Okay, I think balance spells are gonna be too weak to be useful or fun, potentially even dead cards. Think about it, even every magic card is like the spells in AE, and almost every magic card has a cost and a downside or both. Yeah, for sure. I mean, even most of our things at least have like some requirement to play, whereas yeah, there's no cost for spells. Yeah, I think a cost or a trade-off is the really the best option there, because then they don't necessarily need to be rare. We don't have to work them into a specific scenario into a deck. It lets things be a little bit more fluid there. The biggest problem with a trade-off is a lot of spells are meant to like save you when you're behind, right? Or help you out of a sticky situation. So it's kind of a little bit giving them a cost removes that a little bit, potentially. Of course, then it just makes it more of a I think that's probably fine. The game's too easy right now, typically. Like, arguably, I think well, no, it still saves you from a situation. I guess my thing is like a cost. I guess a trade-off is probably the better word than a cost, because cost makes you think I need to use units to do this, right? Which is not what we want, because you should be able to use spells even if you don't have units. Pay 10 units to demolish a structure is worth if you draw an amp tower. Sure, yeah, but I guess the thing is, like, if you don't have 10 units, then you can't play that spell. So that's my worry with unit cost. Not that I'm saying that no spell can have that. And, like, obviously it could be pick across, you know, all your things, but well, the type of downside I like is destroy a player structure and an old god structure. It would be worth it situationally. Yeah. Again, my worry with that is, like, if you don't have a structure, does that still work? I did have a thought for spells, but it only really works if we start doing life decking, right? Like if your number of cards is how much health you have, right? And the idea for spells is that they could just discard cards from your deck. So, like, discard 3 cards off the top of your deck, then you can play the spell. Because then it doesn't actually cost anything beside, like, immediately, right? It's like you're potentially losing future benefit for the cost of immediate benefit, which I think is kind of a cool concept. But I think then we actually really have to figure out what number of cards should be in a deck. But I don't know. That's just a thought. I think it could be cool. The spell makes a structure inactive, and then the Olga draws it again for free at the start of the next turn. Right. Yeah, I mean, you could do something like that, right? Yeah, I mean, that could be a thing too. Like, rather than destroying cards, you could have stuff. I mean, it basically is like putting a negative death effect on a spell, right? Like, you could do something like, I don't know. Oh, sorry, yawn. Yeah, like the attacking card cannot attack until the end of the next turn. More like, I guess, the one where it's the, what was the god one? The attacker's god effect is disabled until the end of your next turn. Like that's a potential good a good option, right? Something like that. You play the spell, but your god can't do anything for, you know, a turn. It has to be a trade-off. But yeah, I'm pretty convinced that they need to be that's part of it, right? So yeah, they need some sort of cost or something along those lines. Like, honestly, I kind of like Magic Missile right now, right? It's not a trade-off, but at least it's situational, right? You don't always want to use it right away. Like, Magic Missile is a better banish, almost. Like, some of them... Yeah, it's these three, right? These are the real issues. The rest of them are kind of okay. I would say Send Reinforcements is probably broken too. Yep. Send Reinforcements probably also broken. Desperate Mage Shield. Cognitive Enhancement's good now that we changed it. Teleport's okay because it's at least limited. Growth is, you know, Maximus hates it, so it's fine. Charm is really good, but it's not broken. Brazen Army is, I think, fine. I could see potentially putting some sort of cost on it, but it's hardly ever, like, too powerful. Brazen Army. The rest could have downsides out of principle, but it's not required. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe I just need to put higher costs on some of them, but you can make Brazen Army more fun to, like, discard X cards from your draw pile and gain 2 times units. I could see that. Draw or discard X from your draw. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, some of that I think is a good idea. Yeah, these three are the biggest problems for sure. I mean, the way the current game is, you could get 80 units, but the deck is going to be shrunk soon. Yeah, for sure. I'd almost make it, you could have like something worse, like not like double the number, but like gain a specific number, right? Gain 1 additional unit for every card you discard, or something along those lines. Two maybe. I wouldn't double it. Oh, I used it X times 2 units. Sorry, I misread that. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I would just add, yeah, 2. Yeah, okay, that's exactly what you said. Never mind. I'm dumb. I misread it. I got you now. I came to the same conclusion you did with me not reading. All right, dyslexic font isn't working perfectly yet. Just kidding. Just going with the theming. What if Scorch destroys a land from each player? Demolish triggers the negative effect twice. On top of the positive not triggering. I could see that. The only problem I think with that is that it's not like everything has a negative effect. I do like the double effects triggering twice. That is cool, but some of them don't. Like, Amplification Tower wouldn't technically do anything, right? The attacking card cannot attack until the end of your next turn. Technically, you could say that would be like for the next 2 turns, but that's subjective, I would say. It'd only really affect 2 cards. It'd probably be a better effect to put on lands. But even then, it's like hard to say. But yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely an option. It's just figuring that out. So okay, spells are thing 1 that need to be done. What else needs to be done from draw to play 2? I mean, I guess the rule book, right? That would need to be reflect. That would need to reflect that. Was there anything else that we really noticed? I mean, Mage's Tower needed to be, you know, dealt with, but I think I already did that. Did I? I don't know if it's updated, but I thought yeah, I bumped it down to 3. Okay. Did they change that? I guess so. But yeah, Mage's Tower was a thing. God rebalances, yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering if part of that is, I guess, yeah, part of that is just having more cards to work with, but yeah, I definitely had to take a look at it. Some of them I just feel are too strong anyway, just after, like, playing them enough. Like, Humanity might be too strong. So is, you know, God of Death and, like, that kind of stuff, or Destruction. So, but yeah, that would be something that needs to be done. I think all the heroes feel fine. All the structures are fine. I think most of that's fine. It would just be... And then the only thing I'm still unsure about... I know your stance on it, but I'm still unsure about the play one of each type part. For the most part, what's happened with Humanity... For the most part, what happened was Humanity buffed, Magic nerfed, Destruction buffed, Harvest buffed, War buffed, Altruism unchanged, Abundance redacted. I'm kind of... Actually, yeah, I guess. I was like, how is Humanity buffed? But I guess it's really... I wouldn't say it's like... It's a technically early game nerf, late game buff, right? Is kind of how those... How pretty much all the unit game gods have kind of changed, right? Because like early on, technically you can't get as many cards out, but you will never run out of cards. Not even late, it's early mid buffed, early nerfed. Yeah. Yeah, I guess because once you ran out of cards, you weren't getting that unit gen nearly as fast. But now you have cards consistently. Yeah, I mean, but still, like, well, I guess still, yeah, mid-game, right? I mean, typically my games, I would say, run around, like, you know, two turns, basically. Or not 2 turns, sorry, 5 turns, typically. Still looking at the 2 when I said, or I was trying to say 5. But yeah, typically I would say that's usually how they, how the games go. So, yeah, so I feel like, yeah, I feel like most of them need a nerf. Although God, I still like the God of War. I feel like is still okay, but only Altruism was unchanged and Magic was nerfed. The rest are stronger as they get to proc more / harder. Yeah, it's definitely true. Yeah, they all became more consistent, right? I guess is the biggest thing. War seems to get much more heroes now, but less of a buff than the rest. Yeah, for sure. I don't really know how I would nerf Harvest, but I have the feeling... Oh, right. I forgot we changed Abundance names. Or Abundance's name. Devotion. I have the feeling they're going to feel like growth, but I think that's okay. Maybe. We'll see. You nerf Harvest by buffing the old god or nerfing lands. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could just get rid of their passive, right? You may play additional lands instead of heroes or structures. I like that aspect of them, but again, I'm also still unsure about even restricting that, so it's like, ugh, I don't know. I gotta figure that out before I like push all these changes. I'm definitely doing it, but before I get the update out, I really gotta figure that out. I probably just gotta play a few different games of both to see what makes the most sense. Because if I don't, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, things to think about. Okay, so gods need rebalancing, and then I think that's basically it. Well, I'm sure we'll, you know, find some broken something or other, but play one of each type. Right, need to figure that out. This update's getting bigger and bigger. I also do want to make, and I may have even added it in here, I do want to make a, like, sort of neutral, just like a neutral old god, like a medium level with no passive, just to kind of have that. But I don't know exactly what that would be yet. And I think they would have a death effect, but I think it'd be nice to have just a little bit of, Yo, Gladiator, what's up? Oh my gosh, the developer of the only card game. The only card game that exists. Very true. I do stand by that I probably am the only card game developer that is streaming currently. I have not seen any other people doing, like, streams of, you know, game development, I guess. Not like game development, but like board game development, you know? Wizards of the Coast went defunct yesterday, Beats. They bought Magic. The rest aren't even real card games, let's be honest. No, like, I meant just streaming, you know? Oh, and Beats bought Magic. Yes, I bought Magic. It's mine. All mine. Muhahahaha. But yeah, here we are. So yeah, I don't know exactly what we want to start with, but do you search for card game developers in every language? Maybe there's a Norwegian card game developer streaming right now. Very true, maybe. And maybe more on YouTube. I don't even know how you find people on YouTube. I think YouTube just shows you people. I've never, like, browsed the live streams on YouTube, you know? I understand how Twitch you can find people, but I do not understand how you'd find people on YouTube. Never touch the search bar, exactly. YouTube shoves people down your recommended until you finally cave in, 100%. Like, I'm assuming you guys didn't go to, like, the live screen and search for people to, like, find me, right? You found me other ways. No one searches YouTube. Well, I mean, maybe that's not true. Maybe in other countries, like, I know YouTube is more popular for streaming in like other countries, but nope, never went to the live screen. Yeah, Probably don't even know what it looks like. I only ever did it because I'm like, where are these people coming from, you know? But yeah. Now I'm just procrastinating at this point. What do I work on? I guess we could do spells or god rebalancing. I think that's probably fair. The scope of this update just keeps getting bigger the more. Never know, let them know your next move. Start working on Soul right now. All right, here we go. So Soul, you know, here's the game rules. It's this here's some ideas. Yep. Anyway, that was all the work we did on Soul. I really do need to get back to it, but I just have, I don't know. There's just too much. I need to test like individual elements and then go back to souling it up right now. Yeah, I need to like go back and test like individual elements of the game. And then decide what I think is actually good before compiling it all together and figuring out how it all interworks together. Because a lot of it's just like theory, and I just don't actually know if it is any good, you know? Anyway, let's, I guess let's look at spells. No, let's just look at gods first, because I kind of maybe have an idea of what we're doing. I'm kind of thinking humanity. So the god of humanity, when you place a card, you place one additional unit on that card. I'm almost thinking just change it to, sorry, 2 additional units on that card. I'm thinking of lowering that to 1. That is my thought, but I could be like, I could be wrong, and that is a good decision, you know? I like their effect. It's cool. Reducing it to 1 does feel lame, I guess, but it's still pretty good. Like, even just like having an additional unit when you place a card is pretty huge. In theory, 1 is like 3. Play, draw. Oh, 3 7s. The old play, humanity strength, so it's perfect. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We need them a little weaker than they were, so the game is harsher anyway. Yeah, it's more just feels less cool, but I think it's still like a huge passive, right? It's like one of those things that like doesn't sound super interesting, but you know, is actually good. Your gods are very unrealistic. Where does the god of doorways and where's the god of doorways and doorknobs? That's a very good question. I feel like we were talking about something like that the other day. Were we not? I was talking about like household gods. That was a good question. I think the guy who's working on the Adventure Time card game, like the not realistic, but the show accurate interpretation, has like a whole element of doors. Like instead of fire or earth, it's just doors. Need to research all the Greek gods with specific hyper specific domains. Yeah, for sure. That would be funny. War controls doorways. If the wind makes them slam into you, destruction controls them, or controls them as you in anger demolish. As you in anger demolish. Sorry, the commas was throwing me off there. So you can demolish said door. Altruism takes damage instead, and you just hurt your hand. There you go. All the doors just for different gods. Depends on where your door's at in life, you know? Honestly, I kind of don't think I'm going to change God of War. I don't know if I've played him enough to know, but I think he's fine as is. The thing is, he's less consistent than God of Humanity, right? I mean, yes, you'll always be attacking, but... Okay, question I keep asking, but I'll ask again. Does War proc on itself? It does not. Because God of War says heroes now have the bonus effect. Before a hero attacks, gain 2 units. He is not a hero. So War does not proc itself. It also does not proc structures with attacks. Or lands once that comes into play. It would be interesting if he procced himself, but... Google Priapus? That worries me. It worries me when someone tells me to Google something, but I'm guessing this is a god. Classic. Yep. Knew that was gonna happen. I was gonna say not on stream, don't show it to us. Oh, I would never. I'm not gonna trust chat. Come on. Can't trust anyone on the internet. I've already had to ban 2 people, so you know. Not banning Gladiator for that, but but I know well enough. People are not to be trusted. Well, war kind of depends on your heroes are now. Not on stream, don't show it to us. Yeah, I mean that's definitely true. I just realized, does Archer gain 4 units when attacking with God of War? Probably not. This is when attacking. Technically it makes 2 attacks though. I never thought of that. It should probably be worded better, though. You may take... Oh, but you attack 2 targets. Okay, yeah, I just read it. Okay. I just reread it. Yeah, you may attack 2 targets rather than you may attack twice. Yeah, okay. Just checking. Now, some of the other things we had considered where it's like they attack, you know, infinite number of times could get kind of ridiculous, but... Honestly, I kind of think I'm going to leave God of War for now. And if he ends up too powerful, then I'll nerf him. But if Archer attacks Shade and Monster X doesn't end up being an ordering situation, yeah, for sure. Good call. Good call. Okay. Well, let's see here. God of Destruction needs a nerf. I mean, so here's the thing. The thing with God of Destruction is he is inconsistent. The BRB Googling more Greek deities. All right, man, have fun. I love it. It's beautiful. I would say reducing it to like 3 units and then potentially giving him some sort of base effect. Or alternatively, a second triggered effect. But I don't know if I like that. Like, it could be like, you know, for a while I considered making it so you gain units for, you know, a higher number of units for when one of your card dies and then a lower number of units when your ally dies. But that doesn't really solve the issue. That just makes them more interesting based on your allies dying. And again, I still don't really like that because it, well, one, it's not solving the problem at all that we're talking about. But it also incentivizes you letting your allies' cards die. There's a goddess of cool breezes. Did I read that right? I don't know, whatever. I think you just spelled it wrong. I think I read it right, but spelled it wrong. You read correctly that correctly. Yes. Okay. I was like, why is that seem anyway? Back. What are we doing? I'm trying to figure out God of Destruction. I think I'm gonna leave God of War for now, and we might touch on it later, but God of Destruction. I'm thinking like 3 units and then potentially giving them some sort of base effect to kind of compensate and give them something more consistent, I would say. But there are like 30 different deities from different kinds of trees. I do love that. I do like the mythologies with just like, you know, deities for very minor things. I think it's very a very fun concept. Doesn't really fit this game, but I definitely would have something like that in my D&D world or something like that. Although a lot of these deities are just renamed from my D&D campaign, so it's fun. Or like a lot of, yo, Squish, what up? How you living? Yeah, so I think 3 units. Greetings, chillin', nice. Heck yeah. We do like to be chilling. We're also chilling. We're talking about 3 seems fine to me. Do you think they need something else though? Because like nerfing them, like I've been trying to decide if they need something that makes them feel more consistent, like I don't know, just some sort of passive effect, you know? Probably not something to do with unit generation, but the other thing is about destruction is that destruction feels balanced, but it's overpowered heavily. Yeah, salutations. Yeah, I would say they feel balanced, but they also feel weird if you're winning, you know? I thought I wrote down some ideas for this. This is not necessarily, like, giving them a passive isn't necessarily a thought on them being overpowered. It's more a thought on maybe they need just something for game feel, just based on how I've had people react to like just how they feel about the god themselves. It might be one of those ones that's just like, don't play this god on your first play because you might not like them because you don't understand them, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Hard to say whether they need anything or not. I could just leave it. I mean, what would incentivize that sort of like play style? Kind of blanking on instruction. Let me write down ideas when I get them. Yeah, I think like the thing is they could potentially have some sort of passive to incentivize the got one, but it's insane. Uh-oh. To incentivize the you know, the losing card play style. I mean, we did have that one where it was like you can remove units past 1, right? Which kills a structure. But the fact that that could auto-proc itself is kind of maybe way too powerful. Haman was a god who apparently attends every wedding ever, and he didn't. If he didn't, the wedding would suck, apparently. There you go. God of weddings. God of rad weddings, you know? It's like Dionysus, kind of. So it's God of wine. I don't know. What if destruction could decide to do absolutely nothing on their turn, and because of this, they could get to draw 1 and play 1 card for every 2 cards destroyed on that round? On the side, of course. On their side, right. So they would get to they get to draw and play after the round is over. Interesting. Maybe. I think it's maybe a little too complicated. But I do like where your head is at. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about that Question is, can a god have both a unit effect and a triggered effect at the same time? No. I don't think so, unless we want to like really change up cards, but I'd rather not. Here's my thought. Because again, I had that idea bouncing around for a while of that you could remove units off of like you could destroy your own cards. Like take one unit off of a card, killing it. But I'm wondering if is that ever a possibility? Because I like the idea and I kind of like the strategy, because the strategy is get a bunch of cards down, and then once you have the cards down, you can just kill a bunch of your stuff to do bigger attacks. And arguably, it ends up being less of a problem when now you can kill the old god and it spawns a new one, right? Like, it is really powerful, and maybe you can make it so it doesn't trigger their triggered effect. So it's like mutually exclusive, right? But it could be a cool idea. Related question, could Destruction's triggered effect be changed into a passive? If one of your cards is destroyed, gain 3 units. Well, for balance reasons, be able to remove the last unit makes it stronger than humanity, or if you make it not trigger the triggered effect, it's not worth it ever. I disagree with that, because you can, if you have a bunch of cards on the board, you can then, like, if it ends up being like, okay, I have enough cards on the board to kill everything. Because that's used to be how the game worked. It was more to end the game, not for any other reason usually. Like, you can move all your cards up to your heroes. It's never I'm really in a bad situation here, let me do this crazy play to make it semi-winnable. Yeah, that's true. I like the idea of it though, you know? It's more like, I'm 2 units short of winning the game, let me kill 2 cards real quick. But like, does that work well with their passive, right? It's kind of like counter opposed, right? So it's like, if you're winning and you have a lot of cards on the board, you can win quicker. But if you're losing, you can then gain units from your cards dying. Right? I don't know. I like destroying cards too, but it's either way too powerful or way too weak the way you described it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm tempted to try it. Just for the giggles, you know? One unit per 1 card dead on your side is demoralizingly weak, and Terrible conversion rate. Melissus is a god of bees in Crete, and his name translates to bee man. I love that. I'm here for this. Yeah, I know it's like a low card to unit rate, but I think it could still be useful. Again, it's like a win more kind of thing, but they already have like a you're losing, so you can win, you know? One unit per card isn't low, it's literally nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I still don't hate it. It's more situational growth by a long mile, but yeah, but they already have like a triggered effect, right? So it's like you might never use the situational base effect, but they don't really need something different, right? They don't need to be more powerful. They just need a more of an like a interesting effect that could be utilized in some scenarios. Well, in terms of balance, your idea is good, but kind of a nothing change. Yeah. I think I want to try it, right? I think I want to try it, and if it sucks, then we whatever. If it's broken, we get rid of it. Like, it might just be something that changes, but I think it's something I've wanted to try for a while, and I think could be interesting to do. Melith is the personification of drunkenness. It's not too broken, bro. I'm telling you, it potentially can be. With the old game, it like if it's broken, I'm deleting my Discord and my YouTube. Okay. Challenge accepted. It's more for like a game feel thing, in my opinion. I don't know. We'll see. One unit per card doesn't trigger destruction. Butcher can't trigger. Then what else? If you have like 3 swamps, maybe a good play, but that's the limit where it goes. Yeah, but like I said, it's there is situations where you just need a few more units and then you can just win. And especially in a longer game when you have, 15 cards on the board, you could just spend all of them and win the game. I don't know. I don't think it's broken. Okay. I'm talking about it being broken. Right. I mean, it's not broken. It's like too balanced. Chimites is the god of the bean. Heck yeah, the god of the bean. I love that. It's even less broken than you think. I don't think it's broken. It can't kill heroes because you can't transfer units from heroes. That's also true. That's very true. But I mean, you most likely be moving them to heroes anyway. Unless you have like a, what's it called? A thing. What are they called? Camp? Yeah, camp. Like I said, I don't think it's broken. I just think it could be interesting. Can't. I'm gonna roll with it regardless. I think situational things are perfectly fine. Honestly, not everything has to have a good. I guess maybe that's like contrary to like other people's opinions. Like Kyle seemed to agree with that growth wasn't good, even though we used growth the turn after to save like a bunch of stuff. Situational isn't the problem here. The problem is the fact that the only situation is you winning. Yeah, I suppose. Well, I guess we'll try it and see how it goes. Oops. We will see if it ever comes in handy. I'm gonna stew on it for a second. I'm writing it in for now, but I'll think about it. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing though, right? Like there's a lot of games that you build around a different win condition, right? And I think that's maybe an interesting thing, but I don't know. That's just my thought. We'll see. We will find out. God of Magic. Do we need to do anything with God of Magic? They're nerfed, but they're already were strong to begin with. I kind of feel like they don't really need anything. Unless maybe giving them some sort of unit effect. I could potentially see that. I would observe with Magic. It's not losing, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. And then Devotion and Altruism are unchanged, so we're just gonna leave that there. What the frick? Did my message not go through? It didn't, huh? Sometimes it auto-moderates things. some reason it doesn't let me... Yeah, you could probably... I don't know. I do have a Discord live chat, or try saying it a different way. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about that. I thought there was like a way to see it, but... I've been automated for saying question mark, question mark, question mark. Exactly. It lets you see it sometime. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's unusual. Okay, that's the gods. We'll leave them for now, the rest of the way. Yeah, I'm not convinced on the God of Destruction thing either, but I don't necessarily think it's bad. It is a win more kind of thing, but even then, it's probably just kind of like a thing that's there to be there, but we'll see how it plays. I've been wanting to play it for a while, and yeah, it would be much more interesting if it triggered the death effect or the triggered effect, but it would be too powerful otherwise, so we may as well just try it. Something must do with Discord. Cool. Oh, well, hello, Wave. The demons, some... I can't even pretend to pronounce that. Yeah, are 5 different malevolent spirits that hate pottery, and one of them is called asbestos. Is that asbestos? Is that how you say that? Right? It's a weird word. Yeah. Okay. That is funny. Love that. Beautiful. Destruction has funny runes in their base effect slot. How fun. I'm just curious to play around with it more than anything, to see if it actually does anything. Because I've been surprised before by like effects and be like, oh, well, that's way better than anyone would have ever thought. But I'm curious to see how it goes. Sometimes you gotta try bad ideas, you know? Yeah. Anyway, now what? Gods are done. Wait, we didn't even touch harvest. What am I talking about? What do we even do to harvest? That's the thing. You may play additional lands instead of a hero or structure. Again, I'm unsure. I don't think you can't. Yeah, we can't. You just can't do anything. Otherwise, it just changes their entire kit. The only way, I guess, to nerf it would just be making it only your cards, which effectively halves its effectiveness. I haven't really played Harvest that much since the new card draw rule because I was unsure of how to play card type stuff. I don't know. We'll think about it. More thoughts, more things to thoughts to think. Again, Gladiator sent us some more stuff in the Discord chat. I can't even pretend to pronounce some of this. Okay, I'm not actually. I'm not saying any of it out loud, but you can you know, have fun there if you really care to see. Another message just went through but didn't show on Discord. Yeah, I see why that one got auto-modded. Have a bit, I don't know, making them just your cards be okay, could be okay, but I don't know. Yeah. Oh man. Haven't played a bit. I have played a bit. Did I probably read it wrong. I don't know. I'm just gonna ignore Gladiator's message there. We're moving right past that. I played Harvest a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave him for now. I'm gonna think about it. At this point, so much is changing that predicting the balance of the game is gonna be like way too difficult. Say the line beats. I am not saying the line. Y'all are just trying to get me banned. I'm just kidding. It's not actually bannable, I don't think, any of that. But I'm not saying it out loud. Anyway, here we go. What's next? Spells? Should we talk about spells? Pasiphae? I can't words. Is the coolest title ever being the witch goddess, Queen of Crete. That's pretty sick. I find that's pretty rad. Yeah, that's pretty cool though. The witch goddess. Okay. I want a god with no base effect. This is like your medium level god, or sorry, old god rather. The I call him Null, the god of nothing, but I don't know if that's too close to Umbra, the goddess of oblivion. Not really. I do need a death effect for them though, because I don't think it can be nothing. I mean, it could be, but I think it should be something. Do we have any interesting death effects for gods in your brain? Especially have to do with nothing. I mean, it could just be... I don't know. It could be just kill a bunch of cards, but... or reduce units by a lot or something along those lines. On death, dies. That's super helpful. That's good though. I like that. That's funny. On death, it dies. On death, you have to burn the card in real life and reduce it to nothingness. Your cards generate no units. It's perfect sync with Null Sanctum too. I like that actually. Yeah, it's like turbo powered Null Sanctum. I like that. It also kind of feels like the Null Sanctum was built for Null, which is kind of a cool idea. Me coming up with a themed idea? How weird. On death, you have to eat the card. I would love to do like a card game like that though, where it's like you have to like real life, like if you die in the game, you die in real life. No, well, yeah, like weird things like that. That'd be a good, like, if I did another like game jam sort of game, you could do something like that and that would be fun. All right, how do I word this? Yeah, but the problem is that's as long as Null Sanctum exists. During the player's unit phase, oh, I guess any cards that gain, okay, actually, I guess it does work, doesn't it? I was thinking it didn't, but I just didn't read it. During the player's unit phase, all cards that gain units gain none. Gain 0. None seems clearer for some reason. I was expecting that to not transfer properly to a death effect. That was my only thought. Because the Null Sanctum is like a passive effect, whereas this is just like a one-time effect, and I thought it was going to be weird, but it is not. Okay, Medium God done. I mean, it might maybe just putting during any player's unit phase. It might have to say on the next round, otherwise no, it's a death effect. It should imply that during all players. I kind of don't like that wording in general though, like any player's unit phase. During all players. During all players' unit phase. That just should be a change in general. It's just a slight tweak there. Just a little tweak. Okay, done. Easy peasy. Rebalancing Old God's done. A Medium God is done. Okay, it's been an hour and a half. Let me take a few, like, 2-minute break, and then I'll be back because I want to try to take more breaks. Need to get some more water, all that kind of stuff. Because I feel like I don't take enough breaks and then my mind turns into mush. So give me 2 minutes and I'll be right back, okay? All right, I have returned. Okay. All right. Now what? guess spells, right? The Popo heart pack, disperse. Puts lampshade at head while standing up. There you go. What's the like? Oh, yeah, there's like the Twitch emote, like scatter or whatever it is. Where everyone runs away. I guess technically, I wonder if you can do that for YouTube. Because there's like the 7TV or whatever it's called, where it lets you have emotes, but they're like you say a text and it like changes it to an emote. I wonder if you can do that on YouTube. I'd have to look into that. But anyway. All right. Here's the order of operations. We fix spells, and then after spells are fixed, I really need to like make up my mind on again the play one. Let's talk about this for a second. So the play one of each type. Let me open up tabletop for a second here. Because I need to like think of the pros and cons of this for a second. Because I know it's like doing it is. Well, let's just illustrate this because it's just gonna make more sense. Hey, look, Maximus's favorite spell. Okay. So, say we have cards. Let me grab one more structure. I really don't need this many cards in my hand. Hello. Sure. Okay, if I had 2 structures, 2 lands, 2 heroes, whatever. Okay. The current rule, and one of the biggest things, and this is something Kyle and me talked about a little bit after playing as well. Growth discard, let's go. There's not a good succinct way to tell someone play 2 cards but only 1 of each type. That just feels confusing because then people are like, well, 1 of each type, I can play 1 of each type then. Granted, that can be put in the rules and it can make sense, but there isn't really a good succinct way to actually say it, right? That's downside number 1 of this. Just rules clarity. Play 2 cards, but not 2 of any one type. There, I did it. Okay, then let's talk about a situation with farm. I guess it just lets you play an additional card, right? You may play 1 additional card of any type per turn. Okay, so it says any type. Play 2 cards, but not 2 of any type in 1 turn. Okay, it kind of flips it around, but yeah. Farm is an extra card. It's separate than the 2 played. Yeah, for sure. Okay, that's thought 1. Potentially more confusing to newer players. That's thought 1. Thought 2 is more about that was just one of his critiques, so I thought it was worth talking about, right? And I'm just, yeah, I couldn't necessarily think of a good way to say it, but Yeah, it's still more confusing, but still, for sure. Thought 2 is strategy. Is it at all ever more interesting for the player to be able to play like 2 lands turn 1 rather than, you know, a land and a hero? Or say 2 heroes turn 1. Or, I mean, even any turn. Typically, honestly, I haven't found a lot of turns where I was like, yeah, I need to place... Like, there hadn't been a... Personally, I feel like there's too much freedom, but there's no objective answer here. Yeah. I know you're opposed to it, but I think it's just worth talking about for a second, you know? I guess that is like one of the things, right? Is that having rules allows it to allows you to have to work around them, right? Yeah, and right now we don't have costs on cards. Although 2 of any cards rule would make it easier for noobs to understand. Man, saying noob shorthand for new players feels demeaning. Classic. Love that. Good old noobs. We did just lose 3 viewers, so that was probably because you called them noobs. Just saying. We showed a lot of lurkers today. I'm fine with that. It's just interesting. Get wrecked, noobs. Anyway, 2 of any type rule is much easier to explain. It's just play 2 cards, period. Yeah, exactly. So that's the nice part about that. As far as like tactics and strategy, there hasn't been a whole lot of times where I'm like, man, I really need to play 2 of this type of card. There hasn't been like a ton of that, right? So it's not too restricting there. Probably the biggest exception is playing 2 heroes, right? Where that lets you have more action economy, and if you have 10,000 minions on the board, that could really be helpful. Which maybe is a legit thing, because it's good because then you're not stuck at a situation where you're playing 20 turns and you have 10,000 units and you're just trying to get enough action economy. Actually, 2 of any type makes Necromancer Altar stronger somewhat. It does. It also makes, well, it does weird things to Harvest, right? Harvest all of a sudden doesn't have their passive anymore. Unless you know, make it so it's like if you play 2 lands, you can play a 3rd one for free or something crazy, but... And 2 of any type buffs my playstyle too, but just play 2 lands and let the old god attack. Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty big... It changes the balance a bit. Just let the player do what they want, exactly, which isn't the best idea. Yeah. It also... That's it, in my opinion, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think you're totally wrong. And, like, some of the rules are, like... Yeah, I gotcha, I gotcha. in your best opinion. Your opinion is the best. No, I mean, there are arbitrary rules for a reason, right? In some ways, because it does... Some of the rules are there just so you can break them later on, right? Like, that's the whole point of, you know, camp, right? Army camp. The fact that you can use it to break a rule makes it cool. Like, having Harvest be able to play 2 lands is cool. You could have a structure or something that lets you play 2 of any type of card. Like, that could just be an introduction of a card instead. Because Farm effectively removes this new card draw, or like only play 2, right? There could be another thing like Farm, where instead it just lets you play 2 of any card. My only worry would be, you know, a lack of action economy, honestly, I think. Which is kind of how we lost the last game. Like, when me and Kyle were playing, we just... I mean, Amp Towers pulled, we had 11 minions on the board, we just got screwed. I do think we made enough mistakes in that game that it may have not come to that if we were smarter. But yeah, I think that game was winnable, but lack of action economy is fixed by adding cards, and I'll die by that, or changing them. Same concept. What do you mean by adding cards? Like cards that have more attacks kind of deal? Or do you mean like the few ones that we came up with that have like multi-attack or can attack as many times or any of that kind of thing? Because then that card becomes like a meta, right? And you have to have that card. That's my only worry about that. Adding cards that can attack or destroy Old God cards. I'm assuming you mean multiple attacks though, right? Like, because obviously heroes are those cards, right? Or change the Old God in such a way that they draw less cards and more powerful ones. Honestly, that is one thing I really like about the idea of which god is it? Is it Oblivion? Yeah, Oblivion. If 3 or more minions are on the board, they're removed and replaced by an Old God card. Technically, it lowers the need for action economy, but it does some really interesting stuff. I mean, there's also the potential of just making it so minions can be attacked more than once, but that also feels like... Because here's the thing, I don't feel like... They're there to take up action economy, not take up units anyway. I don't mind action economy being a resource you need. I just don't want it to be such a way where it's... You need 30 turns to overcome the amount of action economy that the Old God has, right? That's my biggest thing. I think action economy as a resource is a good resource that you have to manage in this game. But the exception to that is that I don't want it to be, you know, you're on turn 30 and you have, you know, 10,000 minions on the board. You know? Why I just put minions on the board to illustrate my purpose, I don't know, but my point. Now I'm pasting more for no reason. Like, this isn't that I don't personally find that fun when it's like the game's just dragging on. Okay, crazy idea incoming. A classic Maximus special. Classic Maximus special with a crazy idea. I suppose technically you could have a minion that absorbs other minions, but with minions had a max number limit, and if they ever exceed that limit, the minion draw dex is instead powered up the weakest minion by making it 2 strength. So gone forever, but the max amount action economy needed is 10, for example. I do like that, actually. That is kind of a cool idea. So you have 10 minions, the old god draws 3 minions. You get 10 strength. Wait, you get 10 strength 1 minions and 3 strength 2 minions. And after a while, you have 7 strength 3 minions and 3 strength 4 minions. I mean, 3 of strength 2 minions. I think I get what you're saying. For some reason that's like blanking. My brain isn't quite handling that correctly, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's pretend. Let's just. So basically, what you're saying, you have 10 minions on the board, right? And if it draws another minion, rather than another minion going on the board, it just powers the one up, right? Stacking it to a level 2, and then the next one goes to a level 3. Or you gain level 2 until they're all leveled up, right? And then once they're leveled up, you add it to the next one. Let me see a visual. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Which is kind of interesting. You just use them as stacking cards and they kind of add together, right? I think that could work. We will have to think about how that works with different minion types if we actually get to that. Because that is one of the goals, but I do like that. Have just a cap on them. A minion cap. I don't think a monster cap makes sense because Code Crunch, yo, what's up? Explain your whole game again. Okay, I'll do it. We're actually talking about a specific. We're doing some balancing here, but welcome. It is a so this is on Tabletop Simulator. It's not actually a digital game, it's a physical one, but it is I guess that's in the title, right? Card game. Anyway, physical game. The idea of it is a cooperative cooperative. Yeah, I can tell it's in Tabletop. Some people are like, wow, you coded this game. Like, no, this is just Tabletop Simulator. But yeah, cooperative resource management trading card game. I use it for mine. Nice, that's awesome. There's not let's see, what was I trying to say? I blanked out halfway through there. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, basically, kind of works like any other trading card game, really. Let's see. These are all my cards. So you have, I'm just doing this because, well, is that any better? That's fine. We'll just do it this way. So yeah, you have a bunch of different cards. You got heroes, you got structures, you got lands. You basically place them on the board. And they gain units. Let's show you a unit gain card. Some of them have symbols like this one. Lands typically gain you units. Units are effectively the health and damage a card can do. So like this little blue symbol on the mountain here. That grants you more units, and each turn you gain those amount of units. You then allocate them between your cards. So like say I want to give this wizard more attack power, I can take it from my land, give it to my hero. And then of course, you know, cards have different base effects or triggered effects, abilities, different sort of, like there's unit effects like this one, which gains more power if they have, or specific abilities if they have units on it. And then after that, both players go. And then there is the Old God, which is a, you know, sort of the antagonist of the game. It's got a bunch of different cards. It's got kind of like the inversier cards. But probably the most important ones are the monsters. Of course, I'm not going to draw one. Which basically have an attack order. So the first card, the first number is, or the first, sorry, symbol. We'll zoom in here because it's easier to show. The first symbol here, that is the strength of the card it attacks, followed by the order of which cards it attacks. So it's here, the up arrow is strongest, attack strongest, hero, structure, and then land. So first it will attack heroes. So it attacks the strongest hero for 3. So say you had like another hero on the board. He had like 5. This one would attack the strongest hero, and then, you know, he'd be brought down to 2. And then the same kind of goes for killing enemies. You have to have a sufficient number of units in order to kill them. They don't lose health like in other games. You would attack it, it either dies or you know, or it doesn't. no decrementing health. So. And yeah, basically the goal is to kill their old god before they kill your god. Your god is basically like your play style. Yeah, I do have a Discord server where I have, you know, the tabletop game on there, along with, you know, the whole rule book and all that, if you're actually interested, or any of that. And then I basically been working on this on stream for a good long while, so. But yeah, what's your game? I'm curious now. I think we may have lost him, but that's okay. Oh, no, we didn't. Okay, cool. My view count is so weird on Twitch. It, like, sometimes, like, is there and sometimes isn't. Anyway. Mine's a CCG mixed with tactics game. Yeah, I mean, technically this is not really a trading card game. It's more of a... There's CCG. What's the other one? There's another term like that. I always forget it. ECG? What's the difference? I don't know. Yeah, ECG is the one I was thinking. Expandable card game. Is that the same thing as a CCG? Collecting card game. I don't know, shrug. Either way. That's cool though. Hearthstone is CCG because there's no trading. Ah, gotcha. Collecting versus trading. That makes sense. Okay. See, I should know this, but I don't. I kind of go head first into a lot of stuff and not know enough about it, and then kind of just make things. And then kind of have a weird perspective on stuff because I don't know what I'm talking about. So A is technically neither for now. It's technically in... You can't trade or collect cards. You just have them, which would make it an... I think it is an expandable card game because it's... I mean, it's technically none of it. It's just a card game right now, I think, but... I spend way too much time thinking about things. Totally fair. Yeah, I don't know. Well, where are the expansions? The beta, I guess, with 6 cards. Shrug. I don't know. We'll just call it a deck builder. Yeah, that's probably the better way to call it. Although you don't really build your deck particularly. It's more of a, at least not currently. We're just a card game. Yeah, it's card game is probably the way to go. Although I want all those features to be in the game, if that makes sense, or at least a lot of them. But yeah, that we'll get there at some point. Just a long ways off still, probably. Hard to say. It requires a lot of cards to have that, you know? I would like it almost like a roguelike, right? Where you kind of like gain cards as you go, which I guess is kind of like a card collector game, but it really depends on how it ends up being. Yeah, my game basically unplayable in tabletop because there's too many cards that generate copies of other cards. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to not do that. I'm really trying to make it so I can make this a digital and a physical version of the game. I'm trying pretty hard to do that because I would like to. The goal is at some point to make the game kind of like make a digital version of the game, which is like Inscription or what's it called, or like Slay the Spire or something like that. I think would be pretty cool. But I do want it to be a physical game as well, so those are my goals at least. Oops. Sorry. Just clicked a button. I'm going full digital because it opens up design space a lot more. Yeah, no, that's totally true. It really does. It makes you have to calculate things a lot less. But yeah, I think that's totally fair. But yeah, no, I definitely want to do that as well. Not necessarily full digital, but I think both would be cool. We'll see though. We'll see where I end up. But right now we're doing some work on that just means I have to make the whole thing before really testing it. I feel like you could probably test it in tabletop. Obviously, like a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, you can copy cards at least, right? You can, you know, Control C, Control V, but you know, obviously you still have to calculate all that, right? Which makes it really, really difficult. to try to take like 2 hours to play around. Yeah, I get that. My game probably takes about an hour to play around, but I think that's probably okay. It'd probably go a lot faster in a digital world though. But yeah, imagine playing Baltro manually. That would be hilarious. Balatro. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, what were we doing? Oh right, we were talking about the card draw rule. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll leave it for now. We'll do play one of each type. How did you explain it? You wrote it here somewhere. Because I can't use words well. Play 2 cards, but only 2 of any type. That will have to go in the rule book, but... but not 2. Sorry. I was like, why does that sound wrong? But not 2 of any type. Any one type. There we go. But yeah. So yeah, we're just working on doing some balancing. I'm changing the whole card draw rule here. Or basically, originally it was draw 1 and you could play up to 3, but then it led to just like the game where you just top decking the whole time. So now instead you're drawing 2 cards and only able to play 2 cards per turn. With the exception of spells, but spells usually have, or what we're trying to do is actually give them a downside, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. We need to give some of them downsides. Okay, I'm looking at curses, not spells. There we go. Okay, so the 3 main offenders are Banish from Existence, Demolish, and Scorched Earth. What? I'm trying to think. Banish from Existence is like, What if Banish returns the monster later? Interesting. I like the concept. Okay, yeah, just I guess for context, I probably should do this more. Banish does destroy a monster or minion card and does not trigger their positive death effect. Okay, no, Banish isn't fine, but it's the most fine of the 3. But it definitely needs something. Neither of the trio are. This one's the least bad, I guess, is what I was getting at. It's still bad, but it is the least bad. Mostly because a lot of time I'm using it on like a shade. But monster comes back later. What if you have to sack a card first? We were talking about that a little bit. The only problem I have with that, so there's a few concepts I thought. Like the problem I have is that spells are kind of meant to like your like get out of jail free cards, right? But the problem is they have no penalty and you can play as many spells as you want, whenever you want. So the problem now is like, I could potentially see it rather than rather than destroying the card, just putting it back into the Old Gods deck, but yeah, they're really good. They're way too powerful. But although Banish isn't good enough for a hero. Yeah. My other thought is at some point I want the game to be like life decking, right? So like if you run out of cards, you run out of cards. So one of the ideas was just use discard the top like 3 cards of your deck. Because obviously you're not going to have those, right? So if you play this, that's fine. It does make Graveyard like way more powerful, but once that's actually a card. Do you ever plan to use the grave as a resource? Yes, technically. Yeah, there is a card in like the beta version of the game that that lets you draw from the graveyard, but also what I mean by banish isn't putting it back into the Old God deck, but basically if the Old God has 3 card draw per turn, you play banish and it turns next turn and it plays 3 cards and then plays the banish. Wait, sorry, let me reread that. My brain isn't working. Also, what I mean is with banish, it isn't putting it back into the Old God deck. It basically, if the Old God has 3 card draw per turn, you play banish. Next turn, it plays 3 cards and then plays the banish. Gotcha. I wouldn't do mill as a cost then. Yeah, it's true. Right, milling is the term, right? It probably will be the only card to do that, but well, maybe. I don't know. It's a good thought though. I mean, effectively, it could just disable a card for a turn, right? Rather than killing it. Which is just a nerf and not like a cost. But unless it removes the top 3 cards instead of discarding them. Yeah. I mean, technically to use... What is... Hold on, let me spawn the new ones in. It's not something we even like really ever played with, which is interesting. It might need to be something that it hasn't even been. Oh, where the frick is it? There it is. Beta cards. Look at these new cards. Look at them. Yeah, graveyard. Remove 5 units from this card. You may draw a card of your choice from the discard pile. Yeah, so technically you can draw something from the discard pile, but it's at a cost. So it's not like you just freely draw cards, but if it's disable, not kill, it's worse than what I suggested because kill can trigger some unit gen effects, right? Yeah, but you say you want to add cards in the future. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Well, this one technically isn't in the play. I haven't ever play tested this card. I don't know what I would do past this card, but is a good point. Milling is probably not the answer. But the nice part about milling is it does, your deck is your life. So once you run out, you're dead. So it's like, paying it forward, or I guess paying it backwards, right? Like you're losing potential for the future. Rather than a cost that's currently on the board. But what the hell is milling? Milling is when you just take cards from your Hey, stop! My cat's attacking something. Milling shorthand for putting cards from your deck into the graveyard. Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, yeah, I don't know why. Sorry, my brain's not working anymore. Yeah, no, it's yeah. There's always like all these card terms that like interestingly exist specifically for card games, right? I find that interesting. Like scrying and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Okay, good. Yeah, I dislike milling as a concept. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. The one that comes to mind is, the one that comes from, sorry, that one comes from Magic the Gathering, where the first card to do that effect was called Mill, or a Millstone, hence milling terminology. Interesting. I actually did not know that. I felt like isn't like, or maybe I'm thinking like mulling through. It just seems like a term that actually makes sense for it though, right? It's not even just like, conceptually it sounds like a proper term for it. Yeah, it works well. Very interesting though. Yeah, disabling the card kind of just feels like maybe lame. What was, sorry, let me reread your idea one more time. So like banish is delayed? Is that basically what you're saying? Because I'm kind of confused by, also maybe a banish isn't put it back in the old god. Basically, if the old god has 3 cards drawn per turn, you play banish. Next turn, it ban. I think he was trying to say just removes it from the board for like a turn. Oh, I think I see. I think I see now. So when you, maybe that's what I was thinking too, but like I don't, yeah, I guess it would. There's the board for the current turn, and what, it just puts it at the top of the deck, and then it redraws it, or just like it just, because my worry with just removing for a turn is just the keeping track of that, right? I guess you could just somewhere else. Yeah, I just don't like keeping track of that, I think is the thing I'm unsure about. I mean, I guess you could just take it. Of course, that's not a monster, but like I'd almost just like to plop this card on top of it, leave it there for a turn. Yeah. That's what I was saying, flipping the card face down, or like putting the banish on top of him. And then it comes back next turn. Yeah, I guess I said disabling. You mean it kills it and then it comes back the next turn, right? Kill makes a difference. It triggers some things, removes triggered ones. I see what you're saying. Okay. So effectively it's the same thing with just, it destroys it for one turn. It basically becomes Nether Muck, right? You know, it dies and comes back. Although Nether Muck comes back instantly, so it's kind of different, but it doesn't have to be one turn though. It could be a number. Yeah. Again, I don't like tracking stuff like that. I'm trying to think. Crazy idea. All right, I'm ready. Crazy IDE. No. What if when you play Banish, you turn the dying monster upside down and then put Banish on top, and the next turn you remove Banish, and then the turn after you turn it back around? Keeps tracking 2 turns flawlessly, even in a physical version. Yeah. I feel like that wouldn't necessarily be on the card, but yeah, I mean, that is a good way to keep track of it, right? It could be 2 turns. I feel like trying to avoid any kind of tracking effect is severely limiting. It's not trying to avoid it. I'm trying to avoid something that's more than 1 turn. I don't mind like 1 round, but once it becomes like multiple rounds, that's when you start to like lose track of things, right? Especially when you're keeping track of like 10,000 things already. Yeah, that's fair. It is limiting, but it's more limiting in balance than it is limiting in types of effects. There's already a lot of stuff to keep track of in this game. I'm just trying to keep it from getting too out of control. Granted, again, in a digital version, all that's kind of tracked, but in a physical one, you have to keep track of it, you know, manually. So obviously, like in games like Magic and stuff like that, they have stuff that you have to keep track of, but I like to try to keep it so you're not too overwhelmed. You're right, Kobe Scene beats play. If you used a token to banish it, made it 3 turns, that monster would never return before 10 turns. Yeah, exactly. I'd say if your base is so overwhelming it's limiting card design, then maybe you should simplify your base. It's not overwhelming, it's just there's certain things I want you to have to keep track of and certain things I don't want you to have to keep track of, if that makes sense. Like the units are the main thing that you should be keeping track of, and then everything else after that feels like it would be too much, right? That's my thought on that. Why wouldn't it return before 10 turns? He's saying I'm bad at keeping track of things. He's making fun of me, basically. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that could be it. Okay, so I mean, I guess then trying to decide if I will this still not trigger its death effect, its positive death effect? My game basically has tracking on every card. Yeah, I mean, essentially this does too. Like, you're allocating units all over the place, but like, I don't want to, I don't know. It's just kind of a design philosophy of mine, I guess. I'm trying to keep it more simple, I guess, is the biggest thing. It's just kind of the limitation of trying to make it a physical game, you know? Here's my problem with this technically destroying a card and bringing it back is that, say you use this on Chaos Worm, technically it still spawns 4 minions and then it disappears and then it comes back and you have to kill it again for killing 4 minions. I almost think it should just make the card inactive because death effects get really weird there. Make it not trigger negative death effects either. Okay, so it doesn't trigger either death effects. But then I guess it would still trigger your swamp. Like swamps and stuff like that. I mean, Magic the Gathering is a physical game that has tons of cards that affect over multiple turns. Yeah. It is true. It's definitely true. And while that's good, and I think I gotta think that through. But I try not to have too much, right? Like, I think it's better to make this game maybe more approachable for more novice players of trading card games, especially because it's cooperative, you know? That's why phases are important. Yeah, for sure. Yes, it just doesn't trigger death effects. Wouldn't that just make... Wait, wouldn't that just make it where it doesn't kill the card? There are triggered effects for the player side as well. I mean, disable is fine, but disabling a card isn't an official mechanic yet. It may... yeah, I need to remind you. Yeah, and it's true. Well, no, it is. Kind of, right? I mean, it's in death effects. Right? I mean, there's one that disables your god's card effects for a turn. So technically it is. It's just not on the old god side. What card is it again? I don't remember. What card has this death effect? And you know which one I mean, right? There's one that disables your god's effects. So it's not totally out of line. I think I'm okay with that. I mean, the Magic the Gathering Comprehensive Rules is like 1,000 page long, so yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is like, because it's cooperative, right? It's kind of just like a game you sit down and play with your friend, I think, rather, well, you know, rather than like you could play this with anyone, right? You could play this with anyone who likes board games, whereas Magic, yeah, some people can understand it, like, and especially if you play games, you could understand it, but you're not giving your, you know, Magic the Gathering deck to your mom and like expecting her to understand how to play it, you know? But yeah, I don't know. Just my thoughts. Just sort of the... I think this is way too advanced for average people to play. I mean, my mom has figured out how to play it, so I think I think we're I've had plenty of people who've well, not plenty, but at least a few people play it. Obviously, like, I was there to explain the rules, but don't underestimate moms. Well, I'm just saying, like, in general, right? Like, mom is big smart for sure. But, like, she's not a game. Well, I mean, she does play some games, right? She plays, like, balloons on her phone, but, you know, a lot of people struggle with basic board games, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, still. I have a level of complexity that I'm, like, striving for, I guess, is the what I'm getting at, really. Let's try disabling card and we'll see how it goes. Because otherwise it just gets kind of weird. It could disable both death effects, but... the second you put text on, change the rules on a card, you've increased complexity big time. Yeah, I definitely have that. There is definitely some of that. Let's see. Let's go to spells. Spells need a cost. Banish. How do we want to do this? Current wording. What am I doing? Yeah, I guess disable isn't like a proper term yet, right? I don't know if it's really what you want the card to do anyway. Yeah. Because this is changing the effect rather than destroying the card. I feel like removing the card from the board is ultimately the goal of the card. Yeah. Some of these I might need to approach with a fresh brain, but... my phone? Or is that the song? What was the song? Weird. We'll just give it a cost, maybe discard some, discard a card or something. Yeah, so like the thing is, like, it could be... I don't mind effects, right? I don't mind effects like it could technically disable one of your cards, right? That could definitely be an option as well, right? Like it could just disable the effects on one of your cards. I don't mind that as an option. That's effectively a cost, right? It could destroy one of your cards. It could make you discard a card. It could spend units. My only worry with that is, like, you have to have the resource in order for that to work, but you can make it so you have to remove units on the board equal to the cost of the monster. Yeah. I'm trying to decide if that's what I want, though. Because that's effectively just like an additional attack from one of your heroes. It would be a severe nerf, we'll put it that way. Trying to think that through. What if it just disables one hero? I think that might be okay. I wonder if that's too weak, but... But that does, like, it is kind of a... That might make more sense, right? Because then... But then the question is, do you have to have a hero in order for it to work, right? Would it just make it destroy the monster or discard the card? Not negate on death effects. Yeah, I mean, currently, yeah, it doesn't... You could just leave it as is, where it doesn't trigger positive death effects, still triggers negative death effects, and then would just disable your hero. But the question is, you have to have a hero to disable. Although I guess if you're out of heroes at that point, then you really need the card, right? I mean, it could even potentially disable all your heroes on the board, right? That could be an option as well. That could be, or at least all the heroes on your side. That would be a lot, but at the same time, it's like, this should be used in a desperate situation, not, oh, they spawned, all right, they're dead, you know? It's just all heroes to kill some Ravager. Yeah, I mean, all heroes might be a lot, but... Well, based on what you said, you're not going to use this if you already have a hero that can kill the monster. Yeah, for sure. That's true. You realize that would lose God of War like 10 units, right? Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what phase in the game you are, right? And I wouldn't say like disable all current heroes. So if you play a hero on your turn, then that hero wouldn't be disabled. It's like, so if I played this at the beginning, or it would matter, I guess. Well, you play at the beginning of your turn, it would disable both your heroes, and then you could place another hero. I don't know if this is getting too complicated. Maybe just one hero is the best way to go, but... Well, no, you could use it to kill a monster before it attacks or before it the effects trigger. Yeah, not every card has to be played the turn you draw it. Right, yeah. Cards persist. And so playing this, I wouldn't say every hero, but like maybe we could start with one and see how it feels. A lot of this is like so conceptual, right? That it's like you can't really tell how it actually is going to be. So maybe it's just worth starting with one and then making it more of a punishment. In that case, I would sack a hero to kill a monster. Potentially. I'm trying to think how to word that, if that's like a requirement, though. I'm trying to think how much I need to nerf them, right? If I should just like make it like really... Honestly, you know what? Maybe I will do it. Disables all current heroes on your side of the board, because here's my thought. Part of my thought was just removing spells entirely. And if this makes it like, oh man, is that the low power heroes are kind of rare. Yeah. All heroes are pretty well balanced. I guess you could sack one that has just one unit on it, right? In that case, I would sack a hero and kill a monster. You could sack a low power hero to kill a game-ending monster. Yeah, I guess that's true, though. Like, if you're killing World Ender or something like that, it would be potentially worth sacking, you know, one of your, you know, warrior with one unit on it. Meowscathian with what hero with 1 to 2 units on it is the only true low power unit power hero. Yeah, Cleric's pretty weak right now, but they're about to get buffed. Yeah, but well, my games almost never would kill World Ender with Banish, as its death effect is really good. That's also true. I think we're gonna maybe split the difference and say disable 2 heroes and kill a card. Nerfing Banish beats? Yes. Trying to nerf all the so the big 3, you know? No, the Banish, Demolish, and Scorched Earth, I think all need to be nerfed. Yes, Papa. You could do skip your draw next turn. That would be interesting. Lower card draw. That could be an interesting one, though. Disable 2 is good. Yeah. I think that might be a... Because, like, you're killing... Like, on your turn, you have the potential to kill 2 things. Or like, 2 things with 2 heroes. So if you use Banish to kill 1 thing, then that might just be... Skip draw is not something I'd like for Banish. Yeah, it's a cool concept. I'm just not entirely certain Banish is the right one for it. I like the idea, right? It disables heroes with units equal to the monster's health. Interesting. Yeah, I suppose you could have it disable heroes with a specific amount of units. But then sometimes there's times where it's not. I think I'm just gonna we're gonna start with just 2 here, or disabling 2 heroes. I think that's the play for now. Trying to banish 2 units has the problem you need to have as many units anyway, so it's not what's needed. That might over nerf it when you cause. Then it's only nerfing when you're ahead, right? Yeah. Is disable just a 1-turn effect? Yeah. But I think that's worth it, because like you could in theory kill 2 things with 2 heroes, but if you kill 1 thing with this card, then you're out being able to attack twice. Disable isn't official yet, it's just written on cards. Yeah, it's true. You could add a couple of potential costs to track how often people pick one. Interesting. So you're saying like add multiple cards that are the same but with different costs, or add a card, or have different, either you could pick one or two, or one or the other of the costs. When I said disable heroes with equal units, I mean you could basically make 3 total guys with 3 each kill a power level 9 monster. Interesting. Give it a modal effect, see what's used. Just like how tech companies test changes. Okay, a modal cost, quote unquote. Yeah, I think that could be cool. People always pick the best choice the moment it's modal. Yeah, that's true. But in this case, like, we're trying to figure out what's wrong, or like what's the right one to use, and then when people in playtesting, we could just make it so whatever one is the worst, we could leave. Yeah, it's not a permanent change. Yeah. This game is very much in flux. I'm kind of intending the multiple costs as a incomplete card rather than, or to gather more data. Yeah, for sure. I feel like we're looking for a card because it's too strong, so clearly it needs a more significant downside than a skips an attack. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. I don't know yet, honestly. We're kind of like, we're changing a lot, so this is all, like, so much of this is theory right now. So we find out, oh, this one's better 70% of the time. You can think of Banish needs more nerfing. Okay, if it needs nerf removed or better, negative effect. Negative, if not, remove the bad one. Yeah. How many banishes do we have in the deck right now? I think it's just one, right? One of each spell. Yeah, I think the concept of having 2 costs is good for information gathering to just figure out what is the best concept, but I'm not entirely sure what information we gather from that. It could be situational, right? I don't know. Just thinking that through. And removing card is pretty powerful. It is. Monsters are less worrisome than the other two, right? These two probably need more negative effects. Banishing a land or a structure are a lot more troublesome. Yeah, disabling heroes is powerful. Or isn't disabling all heroes. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Either way, I think disables. So the weird thing is, it is out of, you can play this at any, disables 2 of your heroes until the end of your next turn, or end of The problem is it should only be... tracking turns might be a little weird here. Of the 3, Banish is ironically the weakest, I think. It is, because I think the lands and structures typically Snowball the Old God. They also have more unit cost, right? As they disable all equal to the power of the monster. A single structure land in the wrong time you can place and your game. A single monsters generally can't, yeah. It seems like a balance issue, to be honest. Sort of. Even World Ender gets weaker as less cards. It can't... may not be that bad. Yeah. End of your next turn is probably tracking your own turn is straightforward enough. Yeah, but you can play spells outside of your turn. So if you play it on the Old God's turn, I guess, yeah, it's fine, right? Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, you're right. That works fine. Still the end of your next turn. Right, yeah. There you go. What do you call what happens when you attack? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Yeah, it's just attack phase. It's a yeah. Banish from existence. Okay, destroy monster or minion. It's positive death effect, does not trigger, disables 2 of your heroes. I should just say hero because that's just the key term there. Till the end of your next turn. We're gonna go with that for now. Well, imagine you tap monster to declare the attack to help track what's attacking and what has attacked. Yeah, there's not really a declaration sort of phase. Draw phase, play phase, unit phase, attack phase, end of turn. They're understandable from their names. Those are phases, not state changes. I mean, there's... yeah, we don't have a specific state change for attacks as this point. There's a phase, I believe. There's just phases, I believe. Yeah, that's correct. Basically, whenever you decide to do something, it resolves itself immediately. And if you really want to like tap your card to say that you used it, that's fine. But it's not really like a requirement. Well, there's no really need for responses because it's a cooperative game. And if you're disagreeing with each other, then that's between you and the other player. Yeah, there's no sort of responses, so it doesn't really matter. And state changes really only last a turn anyway. Yeah, there's big emphasis on yet. Haha. Yeah. there's no real responses by the old god. If there is, it's some sort of like effect, and everything has like a order in which things resolve if there is anything, and if there ever is any sort of conflict beyond that, players get to choose. So and we might need to have some states, honestly, like exhaust states and that kind of thing, mostly for Old God Land, because those should come in quote unquote exhausted or summoning sickness or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we'll see. Okay. Next one. We're getting close to being done with the stream, I think, but it's getting late. I don't think state, let's see, I would implement, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. State changes are also required for resolving digital stuff. Yeah, don't really think states are necessary. They add more complexity for no reason, because computers don't have the ability to understand ideas. And a digital game isn't the main goal here, it's a physical one. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Digital follows the physical one, yeah, exactly. And yeah, there's gonna be some like limitations in one way or the other, right? But I think that when it comes to that, yeah, I might have to implement stuff like that, but I don't think it needs it for the physical version. Yeah. It'll happen when it happens. The physical game will undoubtedly be different, but sorry, hold on a second. I'm helping the world right now. Give me a second. Activate. Come on. Did my stream die? No. Why is it doing this? Why is the Luna cam not working? Probably because I broke it. I broke it forever. It should be working, but I think I unplugged it and now it doesn't work. I broke it forever, guys. I ruined everything. Well, maybe I can do this. Okay, wait, hold on. I got you guys. Don't you worry. Saved. There we go. Victory. Look at that goof. I like to retract my previous yes and replace it with a no. There we go. He just sprawled. We did it. It's all that really matters. Oh, did my camera die? That's funny. Okay. Nope, that's a whole nother source. Give me a second. Delete. Yes. Where am I? I've broken everything. Where even is it? Oh, there it is. Deactivate, activate. Okay. We good? We're good. The cat cam still working? Yes. Luna broke everything. The void. Are you just sitting there? Have I shown you guys that she can do tricks? I know I've talked about it, I think, but I don't think I've ever shown it. Okay, hold on. We'll do it. You should. Okay, give me a second. Here, we'll put full screen on her. She's probably gonna follow me. Give me like 2 seconds. Okay. I know this is the viewing content we all wanted. You want a treat? You stay there. You're good there. Okay. Come here. Yeah, I know. Okay, sit. Shake. No, shake. You have performance anxiety. Shake. Good kitten. High five. Good kitten. Okay, lay down. Lay down. Lay down. She's having performance anxiety. Lay down. Lay down. Really? You're gonna embarrass me in front of all my fans? Come on, lay down. Want a treat? Lay down. Can you lay down? She's so confused right now. Okay, lay down. What are you doing? That's kind of laying down. She's normally better at it, but I think she's weirded out because I'm feeding her treats too early. And in the wrong room. Usually I feed her other places. You want to stand? Stand. Stand. Good kitten. She's being weird. But yeah, normally she'll like lay down when I tell her to, but she's being a butt. She's just trying to embarrass me in front of all my friends, you know? Anyway. Honestly, that might be it. It's 10. And we can figure these two out later. And then probably send reinforcements also will need one. You've been embarrassed. You should be so embarrassed. She at least did the other ones, you know? Should we try it one more time? Okay, one last time. Because I think I'm going to be done anyway after this. Okay. Kyle saw it in person, though, so he knows it's real. Okay. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. There you go. is less laying down. Like a lot of times she'll like flop over instead, but she's just kind of loafed, you know. Anyway, yeah, I think that's everything for today. I think I'm out of energy. There we go. There I am. Come here. I got her. I caught one. I would delete all my socials and run to the woods because of that situation. Yeah, I probably should. Anyway, I'll probably be back on Monday. I don't know if I want to do something on what's it called? New Year's. Still trying to figure that out, but I don't know if honestly, I've been meaning to ask my friends about this, but if we want to do something, and then I might just not do something on well, I guess it would be a midday anyway. I don't know, shrug. Anyway, probably something going on Monday at the very least, normal stream time. I am considering kind of making it so it's a singular, might just move everything to like my typical midday time, or potentially moving like early or midday time, but I'm not entirely certain because it's kind of nice being able to, I don't have like Kyle on or you know, Bradley or that kind of thing. So it's just kind of weird having you know, trying to figure out what times I should do the stream, but we'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, it's late for me. I'm gonna be done. I will see you all on Monday. Well, diverse times lets more people on. Yeah, no, that's true. And I do get like more, like today I had like a peak of 7 people, which is pretty crazy, at least on YouTube, but I don't know who all those people were, but it's cool. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you all on Monday. Catch you later.